Hello. Steve, my name's Laurence. You're Steve Langton, and you're Barbara Langton. Nice to meet you, and you are head number 40 times 6. Basically, we're going to do a wax head of you for this monument in Doncaster on mining, and hopefully we're going to interview you while we're talking. It's a big trick. I have to try and do your head, be very successful, as well as you chatting away, telling me things. If there's anything silences or anything, don't worry about it. We edit it down to about half an hour. So, you know, if you go off on a tangent, we'll cut you off. You'll be this bit, for example. In fact, I'll just chat away now for a load of time, and it'll just, it'll be edited out. So anyway, so you were obviously a miner.
Yeah.
A miner, and how long ago were you mining?
1979 I left school.
Right.
All I was interested in when I left school was fishing, so the first job were at a maggot farm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
But for health reasons, I packed in.
What were the health? You couldn't stomach them.
The smell. Smell and
Really?
fly bites, to be honest.
Fly bites?
Yeah. You have to put
Oh,
meat
God,
out in.
we weren't going to talk about mining, but now I'm very interested in maggot farming.
You have to put meat down for the flies to blow on or
Right.
lay their eggs.
Yeah.
But they used to bite when you used to go in to put the meat.
Flies bite?
Yeah, they were horrible.
Oh yeah.
Are we talking about a normal household fly?
Well, more or less, yeah, blue bottles. And
Blue bottles? Blue bottles bite?
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
So I had a word with my dad, and he went and asked his mate, who was training officer at the pit, if he could get me on. And
Was
so-
your dad a
He
miner?
was mine, yeah.
Okay, and was mining something you wanted to do?
My dad didn't want me to do it,
Right.
but all my mates, a good few of my mates were miners, so they were on good money, so that's
I
how I
think
got.
that was the draw in those days, weren't it? A decent wage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we were well paid.
Right. And better paid than maggot farming anyway.
Yeah, too right.
I'm sure there were some punk bands called Maggot Farmers. There was round my way. I'm sure
Yeah,
there
so
was.
my dad went and had a word with his mate, who was training officer, and I started following Monday as a trainee.
Really? And did you go through, which pit were you training, where were you? Where were you living?
I was living in Edlington, so I was at Yorkshire Main, but I went to Armthorpe to do my training.
And Yorkshire Main is where?
Edlington.
Edlington, sorry. It's been a long time, I've got to catch up on all the mining locations. Okay, so you did the standard education, which was the, you go in, did you, because you have a choice, don't you, at the beginning, whether you go into being a deputy.
Yeah,
or
mining
kind of
craft apprentice
mining,
I
yes,
went for.
And you did that one?
Yeah,
So does that mean that you went to
Bessica.
Messica?
Yeah.
Right. So, and did you go to the face?
Yeah, I was
yeah.
face worker, yeah.
And so where
I
were
was,
you? Where was most of your time spent? At Edlington, Yorkshire Main.
Yeah, I was a main gate ripper, my job.
Main gate ripper. I know what a
Setting
ripper
the
is.
big arches.
So you're doing the.
Yeah, boring and firing, cleaning up and then setting the rings.
Right. And how long were you doing that for?
6 years.
So was that your mining career, or did you go and do other things in the mine?
Once they closed Edlington down, I went contracted 18 months to Rosington, where we did a stapple pit,
Oh, what?
an underground chamber.
Okay. Is that a vertical?
Yeah.
So you're basically digging a bloody great hole.
Yeah, boring and firing, and yeah, it was something I'd never done that.
Yeah.
Which
When you say boring and firing, you mean blowing up and
yeah,
taking out the rubble?
Dynamite.
Dynamite. So you're drilling in, blowing up, digging out,
Yeah, and then repeat the process.
and putting a ring in, or is it brick? Is
It was there were concrete sections, these segments,
big tubes,
which,
is it?
yeah, which
Like
were
sewage pipes.
all bolted together, just like the underground tunnels.
Oh, right.
London and that, yeah, them sections.
And that was and what was that to get down to? That was to get, was that an access or an airflow or a...
It was to store coal.
Really?
Yeah, underground.
Really?
Mm.
Why would you do that?
No idea. I don't know. It was, I suppose it was from different districts where the coal came in. So if there was ever a problem with the shafts and how they got the coal out of the mine, they could store it there.
Gosh, you just think they'd store it above ground?
Yeah.
How weird. Interesting, isn't it? There's a lot of effort to...
Yeah, a lot of expense, I'd have thought, as well,
Yeah.
like, because they've got a private firm in to do it,
Yeah,
and it worked for coal board down.
gosh. And so your experiences down the pit, well, I mean, obviously, you know, it's a dangerous place.
It was, yeah, I've had a few accidents myself where I've been carried out.
Really?
The
Some bagging burst in your eye or something.
face, yeah,
He had to have
the
stitches in his eyeball, which
Oh.
was gross.
water pipe burst in my face,
Really?
knocked me out.
That's like a water cannon.
Yeah, and then I was it was under pressure, so a week in hospital with that.
Really? So you're lucky to keep your eye, really.
Yeah, well, to be honest.
Yeah, you were lucky actually, weren't you? Stitched it back up.
Had the rip come in a few times and knocked me off the scaffold.
When you say
Various-
rip, you mean...
The the stone face, what I was working on, like,
actually collapsed?
yeah, collapsed, knocked me off the battens or the scaffold I was working on, and
So that's not the actual coal, that's the stone...
yeah, the machine used to cut the coal out,
Yeah.
and then we'd take the excess out so we could set the rings for the roadway.
Right. And
Worked with a good set of lads. We used to have a good laugh. on
Yeah.
that, yeah.
yeah. Were they all quite... were you all your age, or were they...
I was the youngest when I started on this particular face. I was the youngest,
Right.
and every year, like, it's getting less and less what's left.
Yeah.
Still like to keep in touch with a few and go and see them. I still go back to Edlington for a drink and that
Yeah.
now and again and see them.
You saw a pet name for you, didn't you? Rainbow.
Pardon? Oh yeah, my
I could see
name
your,
were
all
nickname
different
were
colours every
Rainbow.
week.
So you just get this back straight. You were there in the
79 I started.
79, so it was just as punk had just hit.
Yeah, more or less.
So, and you were in full flow,
Multicoloured hair.
multicoloured hair.
That was my nickname, Rainbow.
And did that go down well down the pit, or was it like?
Oh yeah, you just,
So were you like one of those ones that was very worried about your hair being affected by your helmet? Or
No.
were you weren't worried about it?
no,
I mean, I kind of suppose, kind of
Are they going to be in your way?
probably were actually. Sorry about that. The, probably suited the mood of the time, didn't it? In a sense, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
kind of punk, kind of working down a pit, hammering away all day long, going up at night, and I don't know where you go. Where would you go at the night time to listen to punk in Doncaster?
Oh, it was totally different Doncaster in them days.
It will, won't it? Yeah, there weren't many places to coach and horses, probably, won't it?
Yeah, shit.
Shit, yeah.
And were you in a band?
No, however, never that inclined.
Music
You could probably play an instrument. That's your problem.
That's it, yeah. Nidge one, you know.
Nidge?
Yeah.
No.
You ask him next time you see him.
Hasn't he not told you about his punk rocking days?
No, he has not.
Really?
He got kicked out for being too political
Really?
in his lyrics.
Oh, he wrote lyrics.
Yeah.
Good God. Was Nidge Edlington as well then?
Yeah.
Nidge is my age, Nidge is 3 years younger than Steve, so we ended up good mates through school, me and Nidge.
Really? And same area, Edlington, is it?
Well, I'm not from Edmonton, but Nidge was Edmonton, yeah. Great community then, weren't it? It's just amazing. Can't believe how it changed as soon as the pit strike ended and everything.
Was that marked?
Was that what, sorry?
It was that marked. It happened that quick.
Yeah. Well, not really. I mean, it was about 18 months for us, weren't it? My daughter was born the day the pit strike started,
Really?
so that was great fun. Eating in soup kitchens.
Really? Is that you? Yeah.
Yeah, it was hideous.
You were at the front line.
It was awful.
I haven't heard that one yet.
What?
I want that ringtone. Gosh, I'm so popular I can't. I'm going to have to do a lot of side work on you for a while.
No problem.
There's a very noble profile underneath that angry punk exterior.
Mellowed a bit now these days.
Were you angry
No,
as a punk?
No.
I think compared to some others, I was just playing at it like I think.
Well, any of them were ever. We never had trouble, were they? Anything.
Well, really, to be honest,
Very misunderstood.
Was it a big community around here? Was it like
there were a hell of a lot of punks in Doncaster. We used to meet every Friday and Saturday night. Just
Where
like
would you meet?
a couple of pubs in Doncaster, wasn't it, Bob?
Yeah, stuff I like we used to go to.
Yeah,
didn't
it's
we?
staff.
Oh, I just went there yesterday.
Did you?
Did you?
Well, no, I went past it on the way to the tap because we're looking for a brewing and we're looking for a beer for the opening.
Well, you got brewery taps then.
Brewery tap, is it? Just around the staff. There were quite a few old grey-haired people. There was, I don't know if it was karaoke going on, but it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and the music was blaring out of there. And there was a lot of people in there.
Corporation brewery taps.
Is that what it is?
Is that the one where the flats are?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the deputy on our coalface, he was, he used to do like a stand-up,
Oh, really?
and on a Friday afternoon, on days, we used to come up straight into Corporation Brewery Taps, and he'd do his country and western act.
Really?
Yeah.
And as a punk, would you go and see it?
Well, I used to go because all my mates were there, like, so.
Right. And snarl. It's like country western, wasn't it? Give me the anti-nowhere league. No, I came from quite a punky district as well.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Very
You know
good.
the
Oh,
answer
no, it was.
League.
No,
I'm
no,
quite
no.
impressed there.
Yeah, it was crass. It was crass.
Crass, yeah.
Anti-nowhere
Those
league.
is the legendary, weren't
Dead Kennedys. Killing joke. Oh, yeah, I have to say.
Well, were you down Southern Broad, Beccles area then?
Well, it was go down, about 20 miles. You end up in a place called Leiston.
Oh, right.
That's where I went to school. And there was a big punk scene there. It was actually very good. There was lots of bands. There was a weird youth club. It was bizarre when I think back. In the middle of the playground, there was a youth club. And they'd be in there all day long.
Yeah.
They could use Sky, but they'd be in the playground youth club, and they'd be like cockatiels,
Yeah, yeah.
just like strumming and banging. You could hear them all through maths, you know. It's
One of my favourites, that me read my weekend.
brilliant. Yeah.
And then you hit 50 and you just can't do it anymore because the hair's gone.
I tell you, you're lucky. Look, you talking about me? He's got loads of it.
Yeah, I don't think you've sported a very healthy lower
No.
individual.
I'll do the opposite. I'll be like a tram line. Yeah. So in the strike, obviously it hit Edmonton big time.
Yeah, well, just before the obviously the strike started, I'd met Babs. And then when we went and stayed with her dad for a while, which is how I got into the chair making. That was his job. He were a chair maker.
Anywhere anyone could feed you, we went.
Really?
Yeah, we laugh about it now, but it was horrible. Absolutely horrible.
So you were staying. You had to go back to your dad's, as it were, or you?
Well,
met?
we managed to keep our house at Edmonton. We'd got a mortgage on that place, and our mortgage company agreed to let us write the strike out.
Really?
A lot of people weren't that lucky.
So say, how many mortgage companies could do that? I mean, I'm sure everyone was asking for that.
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it was, I don't know, every circumstance is different, isn't it? But they said they'd let us write it out, and they did, but it causes an awful lot of problems afterwards. Because no one would take you on then for another mortgage, which you were in arrears as such. So it weren't great.
Yeah, so somebody took a chance on us when we moved, didn't they?
Yeah, luckily. It's just the small things you take for granted, you know, just being able to nip to a shop and afford to get anything. You just can't do anything, could we?
So literally, when it went on strike, money just stopped, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Money
Not
just
at
stopped.
all. We got milk tokens for the little one, and that was it. If it weren't your family looking after you food-wise, an electric company cut your electric off. They got cut phones off and everything, didn't they?
I had some good friends, so I used to go beating.
Just do anything you could for a bit of cash. Didn't
2 or 3 days one week and then a couple next.
2 or 3 days beating.
Yeah.
There was that much shooting going on.
Yeah, well,
The gentry were happy.
Yeah, yeah. The lads that I knew were sort of the gamekeepers and that like, so you could get on anywhere. It was like a ganger. He used to fill a van up with beaters and take them to various shoots.
It's amazing how people come together though in a small community like that when everything's so dire.
I suppose you didn't need to dress up much because I mean the birds would have seen you. Gosh, I just can't imagine actually. I really can't thought that one minute you get a pay packet and the next minute you don't, and it's like.
It's everyone's worst nightmare nowadays, to be honest, because and I think the one thing it taught us was that nothing can ever be that bad, so it
Yeah.
was matter.
So did it in a way kind of encourage you to make big decisions about your life? For example, change your career, chair making.
Yeah,
Did you
definitely.
think, well, we've seen the worst. What's the worst if I don't sell chairs?
Yeah,
Exactly,
it did sort of. Once the pit shut, I went contracting for sort of 18 months, and then I'd just had enough. So we decided to move, and we moved to another part of Doncaster, into countryside, and found work straight away.
Really?
Yeah, about fitting narrowboats out.
Really?
Mm.
Does that taste horrid?
Yeah. Well, it tastes of nothing, but I'm sure it's not good. And are these skills that you had, or did you just?
To be honest, I once I'd met my father-in-law. He taught me just about everything. Oh, I couldn't do anything when I first left school. Mining,
Yeah.
I wasn't bad at fishing, and that were it. But over years, my father-in-law taught me most things,
Wow.
joinery especially, and then I've ended up taking his business over.
My dad is the oracle of chair making.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
the-
very famous in his
Really?
in his own field. 85 now, bless him.
Wow.
Very talented guy.
So you just took to him like a duck to water, really?
Yeah. I think he were amazed as well.
He never liked you to start with, did he?
No.
I think it was the pump persona and the tattoos.
Wow.
I was only thinking the other day, well, my dad was one of 13 kids.
Gosh.
That's
Um,
fantastic,
yeah.
isn't it?
11 of that family, everyone had somebody work at the mine, Yorkshire Mine.
In the same pit, even.
Yeah. My dad and his 3 brothers all worked there, both granddads, aunties. Most of my aunties' husbands worked there.
Most of your aunties. We talk about. You got a lot. You talk about not. So when you said most of my
My
aunties,
dad's sisters,
sisters.
they're my aunties,
Okay, yeah.
their
You
husbands.
meant most of my auntie, as in my one auntie.
No,
Most
aunties.
of her husbands.
See what you mean, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So did you work on? Did you see them? I mean, were you working with them and on? And
Yeah. Me uncle, one of my uncles was the colliery overman, like, so
Right.
he was sort of one down front manager and that.
And so in that culture, then, why would your dad be so resistant to you working down there?
Because of an injury he had, he never worked after he had his pit injury.
Really, what was that?
But a roof came in on him and smashed his back.
Oh shit.
He never worked again. He didn't want that for me, like.
And how old were you when that happened?
I was only a young kid.
So you
I
had
can remember him being in a plaster cast, like, when I was a kid.
So how? And did he walk again?
He walks, yeah, but he's not very good on his feet. No, he never has been after that.
And did that make him? How did it affect him mentally? Did he work again?
No, never worked again after that.
He weren't capable, really, was he?
No, he really struggled with it. I can't fault him for not wanting me to go down, like.
No, God.
And end up saying, but then again, all his brother and brother-in-laws and that were there. So, luckily for me, he let me go.
So do you consider to be? I mean, in the way that your career moved into chairmaking and all that sort of stuff. I mean, the mining part of your life. Did you love the fact that you did it? You don't regret it?
No, I don't regret it at all. I'd go back down tomorrow.
Really?
And, yeah.
Over chairmaking?
Well, not over it, but as well as.
I
Really?
think it was
Yeah.
the camaraderie, wasn't it, when you were...
Yeah, the people you get to know and that character building and that.
That's interesting.
So it was a good life. Hard work when you had to do some.
Yeah. But physical work, though.
Physical, yeah.
I mean, what I quite like about the idea of it is actually you're fit. You're a fit guy, aren't you?
Yeah,
Well, what?
Yeah.
pastors.
Riffling with muscles.
Used to be, yeah. Well, that was one of the best parts about it.
So, yeah.
They've all relaxed now.
I know the feeling. Did you do sport? I mean, talk about fitness and stuff. It was very sporty as well. I mean, you weren't a cockatoo footballer.
I did play football, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Sorry to keep going on about it. I'm just enjoying the imagery.
No,
Right?
it's fine.
Have you any old photos on your phone?
You should have. Yeah.
Yeah, loads.
Yeah, I enjoyed my football. Fishing was my thing though.
And how often would you be doing the fishing?
Every weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
Screaming baby at home, it was
ah,
just nice to get
you were able to do it whilst you had a screaming baby at home.
Had a good wife.
Yeah,
to be
but it
honest.
just caused a few arguments when we got back.
God, we were just. I mean, I'll tell you, I was in Lapland like a couple of
Yes,
weeks ago,
yeah.
and the Sami, they're fighting with the government for their identity, a bit like the Basques in Spain, and one of their major parts of their identity is to be able to have the fishing rights for the whole of the north of Finland, basically,
Yeah.
massive lakes. And one morning we were there, and they came off the lake. We were on this lake, and they came off this lake with 40 kilos of fish. They just had nets, put the nets out. They came in, and there were pike in boxes,
Yeah, nice.
wriggling about that big. And because I was with all these fisher people of the Arctic Circle, they were out there like a shot. There was salmon, char, pike, and loads of other stuff, perch, all this stuff going. They all just dipped in, and there was about 5 or 6 different methods of taking fish apart and eating them. And I was just photographing them, just skinning them. There was one woman just dragged this pike and just took the top of it, and just skinned it like a stocking.
Yeah.
And just chucked it in a pot, and we ate boiled
So you ate
pike.
pike?
Yeah, with boiled pike.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Very bony.
What was it like?
Well, I think because it was lake fish and very, very, very clean, and it's not like muddy there, it's rocky. I don't think you got that kind of muddy taste you get here. I don't know much about it, but it felt much kind of cleaner. It wasn't muddy at all. but it was a very bony thing. And then we just had, we were literally just taking salmon and just eating it raw. And the thing was really still breathing, to be honest.
Oh, that's great.
And then we had all their eggs, you know, the eggs all around our cheeks, all this row, and it was amazing. So I can see the attraction. Yeah, salmon roe.
Not quite the same. You're not allowed to eat what you catch.
All right, you were literally fishing and putting it back. You weren't even
Yeah.
bringing it home for the
match,
pot.
match
Yeah,
fishing.
this is the thing you say.
Oh God, this is getting worse.
Living on beans on toast for 18 months.
Oh, so yeah, in the strike, could you go and? That's it. Yeah, when in the strike, when the lake's empty to fish.
We used to go Sheffield fly fishing, put maggots on hook rather than a fly, and when you caught trout, you were stuffing them in every pocket and not to bring home.
Yeah.
We used to go out robbing at nights, market gardeners and fields where taties were and things.
Going out on the bicycle or in a car?
There'd be 4 or 5 of us in a car, like, and going to a field or whatever, get what you could.
Yeah.
Just to eat. Very personal.
Yeah, it wasn't very good times, like.
And I suppose that, you know, potatoes are only ripe for about 2 weeks of the year,
Yeah,
and you know you're in there.
you used to get all the veg likes. It were shame on a little bloke that had set up himself a market garden in that
Yeah.
like, but you didn't think about that them days.
Well, it's survival, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was actually. As daft as it sounds to joke about it now, but it was. Just trying to get enough to feed your family. Heartbreaking as well for friends who had older children. I always remember as a mum listening to them talking about Christmas, and the kids would just be, oh, it's fine, you know, Santa will still come, don't worry, even though we've got no money, because they don't understand. And then the horror of just getting up Christmas morning with nothing for the kids is awful. But people used to donate stuff. It was fabulous how everybody got together. Used to donate bikes and people donate second-hand toys, and it was great.
It's a strange time. Because obviously there's brutality about the regime, I could call it regime, whatever you want to call it, but the brutality of the situation. And then you've also got this incredible, it must be an emotional, what's the word, seesaw. Because half the time there's incredible generosity.
Yeah.
And you can't believe it.
From the, when they used to go and go down to the pit, when all the police were there, and there'd just be rivers and rivers and rivers of people. And then coming back to like a small community at night time, everybody talking about it. And this was no electric, no TVs, it was just...
No electric, no TV, no electric. So electrics, it's all cut off.
Yeah.
And if you didn't pay your...
You couldn't pay anything, there was just not one penny coming in. And it was the debt afterwards, because I remember people saying to me, God, don't get sick of talking about a pit strike, but then for years and years and years, you lived it, because even though it had been and gone, everybody was so skint, weren't there, for so many years, just paying the debt off that had accrued. A horrible time.
God. So did you know your grandmother?
Yeah.
What sort of character was she?
Quite hard, if I remember right. That on my dad's side. My granddad was. I can remember my granddad as well. He were an ex-miner.
Yeah.
Remember him sitting in front at fire with his chewing tobacco and spitting it into firelight.
Really? And what sort of house did they have?
3-bedroomed house for them all.
For 13 people?
Yeah.
So-
Luckily by the time my dad's youngest brother were born, oldest one had sort of married and were moving out, like, 4 to a bed.
4 to a bed. So how many chairs can you make in a year?
Can do one a week, so
Really?
the thing is I have the classes in teaching, take on antique restoration and furniture restoration, so I have to don't work out at 52 like, so.
Bit of all sorts. They've just done some turnings for a bell tower.
Oh, a bell tower in middle of Stamford that's getting
Beautiful.
revived. Don't, if it's got wood in it, I don't really turn any job down. I'd always have a go at it.
So you're in partnership with your father-in-law, or do you?
No, he's
just-
retired now. Still there for advice and that, because
Yeah.
obviously you're learning all the time, aren't you? You don't know everything.
Are you one of these guys that has fetishes about your tools? Are you using your father-in-law's tools and like they're all? If you haven't got them, don't feel right, or do you just go and buy Black and Decker stuff and?
No, it's quite unique chair making tools because they're not like general joinery tools and that, so you have to make your own
Right.
to do a specific job. Apart from the wood turning, but the making the sticks where you tape them and that, yeah, you have to make your own tools. Taking the chair seats out,
Spoke shaves.
yeah, buy old ones, use them. They're a lot better and easier to work with than
Really?
new, yeah, I find, personally.
Been broken in a bit.
Yeah. Better steel, I think, as well, the older stuff.
Yeah, the guy off the Antiques Roadshow with the wood guy.
I've had him in on a chair making course.
Really?
Chair.
Chris,
Which one is he? Because I watched that.
tall one who does the furniture. Chris,
Oh,
I
okay.
can't think of his surname. Look North reporter I've had in for this area, for Yorkshire. Get a few, get about a bit.
Yeah.
Into America a few times teaching it.
Really? You're obviously a leading guy in the field.
Well, my father-in-law was. I'm sort of working my way up to that. Japan,
You've been out there?
I didn't, father-in-law did.
Really?
It's a very good Japanese furniture designer. Went out to teach for him.
God. So Son's teaching is like one of your major.
It is now, yeah. Could have, try and have 2 or 3 students in a month on a chair course.
Do you have apprentices?
No.
Do you think you should?
I'm hoping my grandson will be interested when he gets another couple of years on his back.
It's not like being forced into the kitchen business, is it?
My kids are not interested at all. So when you go and teach in America, are you literally just turning up to an institution and just...
There was the Thomas Chippendale School of Furniture. Chap in America took a franchise out on it, and he wanted to do the same, so he invited us over to teach students how to make chairs like, which was...
Is Chippendale the inventor of the Windsor chair then?
no, he's not, he when he got into it, he produced certain things on it which gave it nice aesthetics to it. Cabrio leg and the nice carved splats and things. Yeah, very.
He was the leading chair,
Yeah, it was, yeah.
everybody loved him.
But he didn't invent them, sort of thing.
How far do they go back then?
Well, I've just had one in the workshop from early 1600s.
Really?
Yeah, it came in a pile.
I think that was the oldest one you've ever had.
So it's the oldest Windsor I've had. I've had a wainscot chair in which was made round about when Henry VIII on the throne.
And what's a wainscot chair look like?
It's just the style of it, quite square looking, very chunky, made out of oak. Bit of carving on it and things.
Bloody hell.
You get to see some stuff.
My dad was doing it. He ended up doing, he's made loads of furniture which I might have to live with, I suppose, one day. But what he got into was bobbin turning, lace bobbins. It became an absolute obsession. All through my childhood, he was in the garden shed, turning lace bobbins.
It can take over. I love being down in my workshop, like.
But we started after dinner, he'd get the bone from whatever joint it was, and before you know it, that would be being turned into a bobbin, he got obsessed with it. Designs. The hair's smaller than you think from the side, isn't it? There's not much of it.
That's not as much of it.
I've got to keep it as a Mohegan. I don't want to look like a marine GI.
But apparently it's a crown, this.
A crown.
Johnny Rotten did it for when it was the Queen's Jubilee. Shaped his hair like the Queen's crown.
Oh, very good. That'll stay in the film. Johnny Rotten is forever involved in mining history.
So he's got it all written out. Has it printed out yet?
Yeah, vast majority of it's done. Just
We're just-
proofing.
We're just waiting for decent photos now.
We'll put your earring in. We'll do that in bronze.
Lovely, thank you.
Is there one on this side, or is it two?
One each side.
I think they're older than the kids, aren't they, those earrings?
Yeah, I can remember the day I went from Waterdale. Jeweller's shop near Staff Alive. Just had one of them little guns fired a stud through.
It's changed now.
Do you do it at your tattoo parlour?
No, I'm not into piercing.
Where are you based?
Misterton,
Misterton.
yeah. It's about 20 odd miles away from here.
Right on the border of South Yorkshire, Nottinghamshire and North Lincolnshire.
It's definitely got you there, like. It's good.
Pineapple.
Alrighty, I think we're done. Steve the anarchist wins an anarchist wins a chairmaker.
That'll do, I'll settle for that.
Can't, wait, I've got to stop. There you go, sir.
Fair weight to it, isn't
Yeah.
it? It is.
Is it like looking
How
at yourself?
much weight have you put onto that then?